How you doing, Callie?
Hello, happy Friday.
Happy Friday. How are you?
Doing good. I am a new member to the KW clan and saw that this was a meeting that I could join. So,
Hey, that's awesome. Hey, it looks like it's just you and I so far. I will shoot out a quick text to Melissa and Stephanie and see if they're planning on joining us. Let's see.
sounds good.
So where'd you come from?
Marketing actually at a Epicor Software. I was doing digital marketing there and have always wanted to get into real estate. So, kind of funny, ironic timing. I had my last day at my old job March 9th, and then that was my birthday. And then a week later, we're in quarantine, basically.
Yeah, well, congratulations, right?
So, and I actually haven't gotten my license yet because I'm still waiting to be able to go take the test. So,
Very fun. We've got a bunch of the same challenge in Colorado. All of our
hold on,
testing.
I can barely hear you. I'm going to join from my computer.
There you go. Fun. So you're still in limbo then, waiting to take the test.
I am. So I'm trying to stay pace of studying so I don't forget everything that I've
All the information you plugged in your head.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, kind of, I'm taking this time to really be able to learn and, plan and making the best of it.
So what's the most important thing you've learned so far as jumping into this business and getting started?
I think mindset is a big thing and really just consistency in connecting with people. I'm definitely somebody that isn't a Facebook poster or, highly involved on social media. So finding different ways to stay connected with everybody, to, ensure that just one, to see how people are doing, and then tell people that I'm getting into real estate. So
Good. So it's just, again, reconnecting, which works out well right now.
Right.
Fun. And what got you interested in real estate?
Well, pretty much ever since I graduated high school, I had wanted to do it. And I know that basically based off of my parents and, wanting me to get a business degree and leading a path of secure income, that seemed to kind of play a bigger role in my decision making. And now I'm in a position where I'm married and we're in a spot where I can take this leap and feel okay doing so. So I'm excited. I'm ready to go all in and build a team and, really make this my baby, Oh, I can't hear you anymore.
I've got my kids screaming in the background, so I'm doing my best not to let you hear them all. And there they go.
You're still on mute.
I am doing a really good talking myself. All right, so I'm just shooting off a couple of emails to the office to make sure you and I have the right Zoom link, because every now and then.
Oh yeah, I've ran into that too.
That will happen. So make sure they're not waiting for us on something else. Good stuff. Well, so tell me this, as far as timing, what does that look like for y'all? What are you hearing in Minnesota and in the area for all this fun COVID stuff?
Well, right now we're at May 13th.
Okay.
You know, schools just officially got announced that they're not continuing,
Yep, not going back.
up and running through the year. So I have figured out though that I can take the exams that aren't the licensing exams, but through, the online courses. So I can get those done here. That's why I'm refreshing my studying.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So otherwise, enjoying this beautiful day.
Yeah, that's always a good thing. Well, while you and I are here, part of the conversation here was to give you some coaching and have some fun with the big group. The other part was to answer any questions about Bold Pivot, if you've heard of it or not. And,
I registered. I don't know a ton about it, but.
Awesome. So they got you to register. What questions do you have about it?
I know that there's a new MREA too that this is kind of built around, right?
Yep.
So I just learned that yesterday, and I'm just reading the current MREA. So I am interested how different it is. And I know that was, I don't know what year that book was written, but it's kind of one of those things where I'm interested in getting this new one since I am new into this market. And even though we've had shifts before, how different, is this and the models that have updated, so.
Well, and here's the fun part. Gary said it before. He says, look, the models still are all the same for the most part. What's changed is some of the conversation. So when you look at the 4 parts, you've got your lead gen model, you've got the structure, right, of the business piece. You've got all those structures, they're all put together. What's changed is some of the data and the numbers of where we as teams are spending some of our money or having greater returns. The other thing though is, as you said, like the business structure is still really the same. The only difference is we may call it by a different position.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that's what they're really going to update is, okay, we're not necessarily talking about putting our advertising in newspapers as much anymore. It's more, how do we take advantage of social media? How do we take advantage of those opportunities and do so at a high level? And obviously even those numbers are shifting today because of what we're finding with Command and with the lead generation we're able to do through that.
So I'm trying to figure out, I created a big spreadsheet I had, for my wedding, I had a bunch of people, addresses, that good stuff. And I'm trying to import a spreadsheet in Command and I can't figure it out right now.
Do you have a tech director at your office?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would connect with them.
I'm just starting to get into Command. They told me to start adding people to my database. So
yep.
I'm in the very, early.
If I were to give you any advice to be 100% ready for Pivot, that would be it. It would be add to your database, build it out, get it tagged appropriately so that you understand who it is you're calling and what they're looking at. And then from there, be able to dive in, be familiar with how you use it, how to modify it, and how to maximize it. So, because a lot of what we're going to be doing is going to be deep into that database, into those conversations, into that connections, and how are you creating the connectivity and how are you creating the follow-up systems within it? Because as the database continues to grow and expand, it becomes a beast.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Salesforce and, maintaining a large database. So I I feel like my tech game is strong,
Good.
but I can't figure out how to import. So that's the problem.
That's another story. How you doing, Mr. L?
I'm muted.
There you go. How are you, sir?
Great. How are you?
Good, good. Hey, we're just having a quick conversation. Obviously, I was here to chat a little bit about the mindset piece and some other stuff, and then also a little bit about Bold Pivot. Kylie's already signed up for Bold Pivot. How about you?
I'm the acting broker.
Well, you got your hands full today, don't you?
So I'm probably not going to be. I think
That's
I'm
awesome.
about 145 files, so I'm going to be pretty busy.
That will happen. What are you seeing right now in your market? There's the active broker.
Well, I'm kind of a market statistics nut. The still pretty active market. We usually this time of year would be in the last 7 days in the 7-county metro. We would probably have 1,000 to 1,100 new pendings.
Uh-huh.
I gather my statistics on Wednesday. I believe we had 940 on Wednesday, and that's kind of recovering from Easter week. So
Yeah.
I thought it would be down more than that. And the average days on market of those 940 was like 24 days.
Yeah. So
that's still pretty active.
Yeah. Good. What are you guys under any restrictions? As far as the realtor community?
No, it's actually pretty open. Initially, we couldn't have photographers out, but they got that changed, I think, with the Department of Commerce. A lot of people are doing virtual open houses. And some have been pretty excited with the results from it.
Good.
So that's good. I haven't heard a whole lot of information on that, on the virtual open houses, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
That's the key, right? Well, you guys kind of hit a little bit later than a lot of the other part of the country, didn't you?
Say that again.
Did you guys hit a little bit later as far as the shutdown and the stay-at-home type of stuff and all that?
No, well, as far as I know, we were only a day or two behind most of the rest of the states.
We've just been killing our numbers. We're doing really well.
That's because you guys are rock stars, right?
We're really good at staying at home because of winter. That's
it.
I think our governor was one of the first ones to open up for golf.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And a lot of people don't know this, but per capita, I think Minnesota has more golfers than any other state in the country.
Interesting.
It is.
We're still pretty tight in Denver. So.
Are you?
Yeah. We the governor came out and said we could start showing houses again on Monday, and then 4 of the Denver metro counties have already come out and said that they're going to extend the local order to I think like the 2nd week of May.
All right.
So it's hit and miss. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it is. I think a lot of people will develop better habits.
Yes.
Out of this, and change their mindset to be maybe a little more open to what, just like a virtual open house. I mean, who would have thought about that a year ago?
Yeah, there's a ton of opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's one of the exercises that we've done with our team is, it's easy to fall in because we got to a point where our attorney general came out and said, hey, if you show a property or if you hire a photographer as an agent, she threatened to put us in jail for a year.
Wow.
My 20-year-old son said, you know how you protest that? I said, what's that? He says, because I own 2 market centers and I'm an investor in a third. He says, how many agents do you have? I said, about 550, 600 agents. And he says, get them all thrown in jail. To make a statement. And I was like, dude, are you kidding me?
Yeah, Gary would like that memo.
Exactly. FYI. He's like, come on, it would make the news. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if that's the right way we want to make the news.
Keller OP hauled off to jail.
Because we were doing our job. Yeah, so they finally released, they kind of lifted that up a little bit. And yet it's yeah, it's been interesting. We saw our listings drop by about 48% over the last 3 weeks. Under contracts were down about 37% in the market. And
yeah,
then,
we haven't seen that at all really here.
yeah, that's good.
It is. I guess we're adapting.
Yep. That's what I would like to say we did. We had a lot of our agents, our top agents are still real busy. Our market as a whole, now that we've got the new order that came out, I'm just pulling up the stats on it. We are up almost 100% in the last 24 hours in listings taken. Just because the order has been suspended and it was announced 2 days ago.
Huh.
So we've seen an increase almost 2 times of what we have been taking. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes and how we respond.
Yeah.
So always fun. Always fun. Well, what questions do you have for me and what can I do for you?
I'm interested to just know more about what's free for me to use and going ahead and like talking about these virtual, you know, relationships that we're going to be probably having more so down the road. Like, what can I take advantage of as a new realtor without having costs of, you know, all these apps and whatever else?
Well, and you've got the right guy on the phone. You've got your broker on it because you're still waiting for your license as well, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Stephen, what would you tell her? How can Callie work in this environment, build out that database, take advantage of the opportunities, even though the license hasn't quite yet?
Well, I would, and maybe you've already, you know, I was a little late getting here, but definitely work on your database. Hopefully you could walk over to a mailbox the day your license goes active and send roughly 150 to 200 letters to your sphere to make your announcement.
And what would those letters say?
Huh?
What would those letters say?
Just wanted to touch base with you, let you know that I've made a career move to Keller Williams Preferred Realty in Burnsville, and would love to have the opportunity to visit with you about that in any way that I can help you, your family, or friends, especially in this uncertain times with the virus that we're dealing with, and to let you know that real estate is still pretty active in the Twin Cities, and would love to share some of those numbers with you. Kelly, are you getting my weekly email?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Do you have access to our Keller Williams Preferred Realty Facebook?
Oh yes, I do. Sorry.
Okay.
The last one was the 22nd, 2 days ago.
Yeah, I put it out every Wednesday.
Yep. Yeah, I have seen this.
And if you like statistics, you'll love it. If statistics aren't a big deal to you, you'll say, what the heck is this? But, you know, either you send all those at once, or maybe you send them like 10 or 15 a day, and then give them a day or two, and you follow up on that letter and call those people and just say, hey, I know you got a lot of things going on in your life with kids and sports and whatever. Just want to see if you got my letter, and try to develop a conversation out of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you.
So your database in order.
Definitely have thought about writing letter and what?
Just to get your database in order, be ready to send that letter.
Yeah.
Structured command.
You know, just start a spreadsheet or whatever. Have you started a spreadsheet already? And
Yes, and I'm trying to import it.
Okay. Talk to either Sammy, who is an expert in command, uh, and also Sarah. If I don't know if you've talked to or met either one of those two
Yeah,
gals for
Sarah.
our office.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we definitely have support with the Burnsville office, which I love.
Yeah, it's we've got a great office culturally, and I think you'll enjoy it, being a part of it.
Thank you.
Good.
Yes, I'm excited.
Well, the other thing I would say is be ready. I mean, you can start having the conversations today just to let them know that you're making the move. Obviously, and correct me if I'm wrong, Stephen, you can't necessarily talk about real estate or invite them to do business with you at this point.
Right. Not until you're officially licensed, right?
Exactly.
But I would, encourage you to kind of get to know your neighborhood. When you see houses come up for sale in your neighborhood, because you probably have a lot of friends in the neighborhood anyway. So, and once you are a realtor, I would set up an automatic email to yourself so that anytime something comes on the market in your neighborhood or goes to a pending status, you're aware of it, and you can start to get familiar with the different floor plans or the what they look like from the street. What's the difference between a rambler and a split entry and a two-story, obviously, and a multi-split, or just get to know those.
I'm targeting, I want to become the go-to realtor for my neighborhood and Prior Lake area.
Okay.
That's kind of, and I do want to, I'm working on my logo, branding, name, and all that stuff too. And I'm hoping to really make it a good splash.
Well, Stephanie, who just joined us, can probably help you with your logo, some suggestions of some people who will do your logo for very little cost. She's just great with that.
I'd be happy to help you, Callie. Thank you, Stephanie.
There it is. How are you doing, Stephanie?
Stephanie's muted. I don't know.
Muted. She said she'd be happy to help you.
I did not mean to take over the conversation today.
You're good. We're just having a quick coaching call for all intents and purposes because it's just a group of us. So you also got Dennis Russell on here. Dennis is a fellow bold coach with me, so he's listening in just to see how things are going. So he can chime in as well. So Stephanie, how's the office going? How y'all doing?
Hey Jake, sorry to my sound was being funny there. No, we're doing great. We're doing great. So just wanted to let you know too, this is all being recorded. So I think we kind of got sometimes I think people get overwhelmed with us here on Zoom. So I'm happy to we'll live stream all of this on our Facebook page so we can get some more people can see if they couldn't hop on. I know I get that. I manage all the schedules, so I get that all the time. So I had a closing, all that kind of stuff. So we'll be happy to share this with you.
More just between you, me, and the fence post, the five of us on. It was more of a personal conversation between Callie and Steven and I, just about checking out.
Love it.
And
I don't think this really needs to be shared.
How we can help Callie get going once she gets licensed and all sorts of fun stuff. It was good.
Good. Awesome. Glad to hear that.
I would make sure that they're both comfortable with it being shared because it was more about them.
We'll touch base.
Always good. Well, before we wrap up, what else can I do to help and support your guys' office and really help you all with, be it labs or the, bold pivot or just in general?
Yeah. So, I kind of had to pop on. We were just finishing up another meeting, but did you touch on bold pivots, some of the specifics, what people can expect, what that, because it'll look a little bit different, than normal bold. So
yeah, it will. And
touched on that.
What you'll expect, it's going to be 2 days a week. As far as the live stream, it's going to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 3. It will be recorded. So if you're not able to attend during 1 to 3, if you're doing the homeschool stuff or whatever, it'll be recorded. Also, Kelly, do you have access to the Bold Pivot May 2020 page on Facebook?
No.
Let me give you the link for that. I'll put that in the chat. You will want to dive into this and get access because there's already a ton of material placed in this page, and you only get access into it if you've signed up and registered. So, but you want to click in there and get everything lined up. If you go into the files and there's already scripts, dialogues, there's some great videos and content for you to really jumpstart and get rolling with it today. So that's the other piece. That's where all the material will be pushed as well, so you'll have access to it there. And then 2 days a week, we're working right now to get the final details put together of what we're calling a coaching corner. Where it looks like what we're going to do is touch on different topics and just kind of work through those. Those are also going to be from 1 to 3 Central. That'll be Wednesdays and Fridays. So the Bold Pivot Facebook page is going to be manned, and still is even today, by Bold coaches. So if you have questions, comments, you name it, the coaches are there to help and support you through that whole process in every area possible. So that's what it's all about.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I've really retained a lot of information regarding mindset and reading the MREA shift. But as regarding our market now, what I feel like I need to work on is being able to communicate across my database to make it sound like I know what the hell I'm talking about.
Exactly. So here's what I would tell you. Get access to the pivot page, request access today, and search. When you get access, go into that page, and if you search for James Shaw, S-H-A-W, he's one of our Bold coaches. He's got a great video in there about the 3 C's of the conversation today, and it's all about care and compassion and the way that we can have that dialogue today.
Right.
Number one. And then the other one is Steve Schlueter. He's another one of our Bold coaches. He also runs a program called Never Ending Referrals, where it dives deep into the database. And he's placed a couple conversations in there about different conversation structures to carry that forward. So, you may hear 4 dialogue, right? Friends, occupation, recreation, dreams. That may not be the conversation that we have today. It may be, right, a care conversation first, which is, how are you doing, right? The care part, what's the action, or what can I do to support you? What type of response is required in that moment? And then what are the expectations that have been given? So it's all structured in how do we create those conversations today. It's not necessarily, here's your script, say it like I gave it to you. It's more of, this is the structure, go ask great questions, get great answers.
Yep, that makes sense.
And
yeah, that's cool. And getting practice of doing that too is what I'm ready for.
That's the key. That's the key. And the whole class is written on that basic premise. It's going to be mindset. It's going to be the skills that are necessary today in today's market to win. And then it's going to be, how do we implement them, right? So what's the implementation process? So when you leave, you've got skills and an implementation process, and you've approached it with the right mindset to get there.
Love it.
It's awesome. You're going to love it. Did we do okay, Stephanie?
All the resources.
Yeah.
Are out there. I can spend hours and hours looking at resources. I swear, there's so much.
Oh yeah, there's a ton. There's a ton.
It's great.
Jake, I got one final question for you. Maybe you already touched on it too, but I know when we were emailing back and forth that you got your start, at the end of the last recession?
Yes.
And just I don't know if like I said, I don't know if you guys touched on it, but just you had mentioned, some of the biggest opportunities can be taking place in this market. And so can you just kind of elaborate on that a little bit and touch on that?
A couple things. I'm actually teaching a class next week. I can send you an invite if you want to send it out. It's for the Colorado region, called the Millionaire Market. And here's what we found out. In 2008, in the last kind of Great Recession, if you want to call it that, I took 75 grand and we've turned it now into over $10 million worth of property.
Wow.
So when we talk about the biggest opportunities exist in these types of markets, I don't know where else I could have taken $75,000 13 years ago and allowed that to grow exponentially over the course of the last 10, 12 years. So that piece is there. And then the flip side to that is, what are we doing today to prepare ourselves for that, to double it again, right? And that's the conversation that we're going to have on Thursday. However, I wasn't the only one. And that's what got me into real estate back then, was that I started to talk to people and they would ask the question, well, how are you doing it? What's going on? And I realized that my realtor wasn't calling people back. Go figure. So I got licensed. And it wasn't because I wanted to be a real estate agent. It was just because I saw the opportunity, because somebody else wasn't doing the job at the highest level that I expected. So I jumped in, got licensed. Before you know it, the following year, 2009, we closed 87 transactions that year.
Wow.
And it was a combination of investors. It was a combination of short sales and knowing the market at the moment. And it was a combination of just regular transactions. And really, it was, how purposeful do we need to be in today's market, knowing where those opportunities are? Because as we get focused and become purposeful, that's where the opportunities really show up. Especially today, because you, Callie, being brand new, and somebody else who's been in this business 20 years, we've never experienced COVID-19. None of us have. And because of that, it's creating a brand new market and a brand new floor. And those of us who respond appropriately today are going to be the ones that take the market share tomorrow. And many times what happens is, those of us who are experienced, we sit back and we go, well, I'm going to wait for it to come back. Or I'm going to wait for this to kind of level out, and then I'll dive back in. Well, if we do that today, it may take 6 months or 12 months for it to get back to normal, quote unquote. And people like yourselves will have already jumped in and taken the market share from us. And that's the opportunity.
Yeah, that's so good. I love it. Awesome. Well, sweet. I know you guys started at 2-ish, so I don't really have a whole lot else, but
I will send you, Stephanie, the invite to that Thursday class, so you can send it out if you want. Again, it's for the Colorado region. However, I'm hosting it on my Zoom channel, so we'll have some fun with it.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, Jake. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Y'all have a great day.
Yes,
Thanks,
you too.
Jake.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Let me participate in your call.
Bye.
Bye.